Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Movie Bucket here on Screen Stealers. So if you grabbed your popcorn, your soft drink, maybe even a soft pretzel, it's time to talk about another movie. I'm Brooke, and I'm here to recruit you.
Woo! Yeah!
Yay. And hi, I am River, and a homosexual with power, that's scary.
Yeah, that is very true. And
Have you
hola, I am
seen?
Eduardo. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. The fracking? Anyways, hola, I am Eduardo, and Anita, you liar, we'll set your hair on fire.
Period.
Yes. It's been a lovely month here because for the final time I'm gonna get to say this on this podcast this year. Bitches, it's fucking Pride Month, baby. Woo 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 woo. Gay, 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 gay,
Gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
Gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay.
gay, gay.
Um, yes, and as three card-carrying queers ourselves, we had to honor as much gay as we could this month, and I think we've done a relatively good job at honoring gays and lesbians. Next year, we're gonna do better about honoring other groups. Yeah. But today we had to, in my mind, as this is my choice, I wanted to take the time to honor a pioneer of gay rights, um, in the U.S. at least, and someone who I think I hope that we can continue to recognize the importance of for years to come. Of course, we're talking about Harvey Milk and the movie Milk from 2008, uh, which is just a biopic of the last 8 or so years of Harvey Milk's life. Uh, in case you don't know who Harvey Milk was, he was the first openly gay man elected to public office in the state of California. He was only the third gay person elected to public office in the United States. Um, and unfortunately, he was assassinated. So, as a community, I feel like it was only appropriate to talk about a little bit more of the seriousness of being queer, because we have, this month we've been mostly light this month. Rafiki has its moments of darkness, but like when we're talking about, like, we did But I'm a Cheerleader, we did The Way He Looks, and those movies are both fun, sweet, like good films. This is a really great movie too, but I do think it's important to acknowledge what the people that came before us and the path that they laid through incredible amounts of sacrifice regardless of who they were and what happened to them. So as much as I didn't want to be a downer the entire year, and honestly I don't even think most of this movie is a downer, I think the ending is just sad. um
Mhm.
but I think it was important to talk about, and that's why I picked it. And it is a first watch for all of us. Yay.
Oh, all right. See, here's the thing. I did not know about Harvey Milk, the person, right? Didn't I researched, I read a little bit when you picked the movie and when I knew that we were going to be watching it, but I read like just enough to kind of know who he was and why there was a movie about him, kind of,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to spoil. So I didn't know about the ending, how the story in real life ended and how the movie ended. So that was a surprise to me. And I just want to note real quickly before we actually get into it that, like, just like us here in this podcast, unfortunately left out movies about trans people and trans experiences. The
Mhm.
one negative, like, thing that I can note that like comes to mind first for me and is like first in my mind is the lack of mention of trans people in all of it, basically. And here's the thing, I don't know if in real life, in the story of Harvey Milk, the person in real life, he was an advocate for trans people. He might have been, and I just don't know. But we didn't see that in the movie, is what I'm saying. And that is like my biggest critique, I would say. And I will say that the one mention that I do remember seeing, because there might have been something that maybe I missed, and I'm open to being corrected. Um, but at the end, they have like the little pictures of the real people and like what happened to everyone, like in the text right underneath it. And one of the people, it says that they became an advocate for, and then it stated the specific marginalized communities, and trans people was one of those communities. So that is the one I will give them that. Like there was a mention there of like someone that was in the movie that was an advocate for that. So that was like a small mention. That was just one thing that I noticed, because I was like, especially when he was saying like the us's, and he was like black people, Asians, gay people, whatever, and I'm like, what about, but no mention of trans people? Why? And that was the one small thing, because like everything else, I loved learning about the story of this, the historical aspect. I think is so important. Like it was very well done, but that was just one thing that I noticed that we were also guilty of and at fault for. So it's just now that we know better, we do better. We just try to do our best. But that's all.
Yeah. When it comes to Harvey Milk, I knew a little bit about Harvey Milk. I knew that he held public office for a little bit, and I knew that he had been assassinated. That's all I knew. I didn't know his actual story or like how he actually got into office at some point. But the entirety of like Harvey Milk and like holding office, being the first openly gay person or man to hold the public office in the United States reminded me a lot of a person that used to be part of our government here in Mexico. We had this person called Jesus Ociel Baena. If you're Mexican or if you're Latin American, you probably may have known about this person. They were the first ever non-binary magistrate of Latin American history, and unfortunately, like 3 years ago, they also died because of a murder, I think. And a lot of it just a lot of the story of like how Harvey Milk was murdered and how like the whole story of how justice wasn't really like that served that hard, like how his murderer only served like 5 years, and how that all happened reminded me of the issues with Jesus Ociel Baena and their murder, and how justice was never served, how police just dismissed them outright, and how I felt that there were a lot of similarities between these two people in the U.S. and in Mexico here. So it just brought me back to those recent times, and it just felt close to home a little bit. So yeah, it was a lot for me to watch this movie and kind of see how not only it affected people in the United States, but how I can relate that story to here in Mexico, and how it still happens and how it's still like so prevalent in like in modern years, which is unfortunate, but yeah.
I mean, it's definitely one of those things where I want to acknowledge that, yeah, every group that has had to fight for rights across any time period, that is a struggle that only those groups of people know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about, there wasn't really a mention of trans people in this movie. Yeah, you're right, 100%. I don't even know if the U.S. is fully ready for trans rights today. As a trans person who is, when we're still fighting for trans rights in the U.S. today, right? And we're still, we're still fighting for it. Then hell, we like Harvey Milk. He was assassinated in the 70s, right? And
still very progressive for the time. Like, I just wanted to like mention that, but yes, still.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm bringing it up though is Harvey Milk was assassinated in the 70s. And San Francisco is commonly considered, at least in terms of the United States, one of the gayest cities, if not the gayest city in the United States. Okay, nowadays. Mm-hmm. Even back then, though, it was pretty much the same thing. It was like that. New York were like the two gay cities, pretty much. And now, we didn't have gay rights. I mean, gay marriage didn't even pass until 2014. Like we're at that point now where we have a lot more rights than we did then, and we're in a better spot, law-wise, but even then, gay marriage is only legal in the United States because of a Supreme Court case. So in theory, gay marriage could be thrown out of the window tomorrow. It won't be because, oh dear God, help the people if they do. Considering gay marriage support in the U.S. is like 77% now compared to like 50 only about a decade ago. Thank you, generational turnover. We love you. But we're at that point now where the rights that they were having to fight for in the 70s are the things that we now have for the most part, which means now what we should be doing, and I say we as gay people in the United States, we need to be throwing all of our support behind our trans brothers and sisters who are and non-binary in-betweeners who are all going through the same shit that we had to go through, only worse. Honestly, let's just be blunt. It's worse. So that's what we need to do. And, it took people like Harvey Milk existing for us to get to where we are today. So I would also like to acknowledge that it's pretty, I'm pretty sure it's like heavily established that he is like he was a trans rights supporter. I feel like if he wasn't, that would have been something that we would know about. But
not saying that he was like anti-trans, you know what I mean? Like, but it just wasn't mentioned. That's the thing.
Yeah, of course. There's also the Harvey Milk High School, which I don't know if you all know about this. It's a tribute high school to him in New York. And it's for students, like queer students, and it does admit transgender students.
That's awesome.
And it's like it's a program that runs out of a different institute, but beside the point. So there's a lot there. I do want to try to cover this as a movie because it's kind of hard. This is like when we're talking about, like, we haven't, correct me if I'm wrong here, because I really don't think we have not done a biopic on this podcast before. We have done based on a true story, specifically we're talking about Rosewood, but we haven't really done the life and times of Harvey Milk. You know what I mean? Like, and that's basically what this movie is. It is the last 8 years of Harvey Milk's life, but it's a little dramatized. And it's kind of hard to talk about, how do you feel about this movie plot-wise? Well, pretty sure it's relatively accurate, and I'm pretty sure, the stories that I have heard and the things that I have seen, they are correct. So I can't really talk about the plot too much because it's kind of just real life. But I guess that just comes down to the acting, and God, everyone in this movie is on their A game. Everybody is doing their damnedest here.
Yes.
Can I say that I agree, except for one person? That wasn't
Lord.
Absolutely horrible, may I just say.
If you say the person that I think you're going to say, I'm going to be mad.
I think this person. No, wait a minute. No, hear me out. I don't think this person was terrible. I just don't think this person was on the same level as everyone else. James Franco.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
He wasn't terrible. But it was also not great. You know what I mean? Like, it was serviceable, in my opinion.
I will say
everyone else was great. Everyone else was great. Yeah.
I feel like when you're like, okay, I'm gonna say 5 out of 5 and 4 out of 5 acting performances for most of the film. I'd probably put James Franco at like a 3.5. Like, he was fine. Yeah, like, he was in the movie. He was not actively harming my viewing experience. But when I compare him to like Emile Hirsch or Sean Penn or Josh Brolin or literally anybody else in this movie,
I forget the woman that played the lesbian manager when they ended up winning.
Alison Pill.
Yes. Yeah. She was great. Like, she was so good.
Wonderful.
In other notes, can we also add Alison Pill to the Robin Day Jesus, Vanessa Hudgens contingency? Cast Alison Pill and more things.
Yes. Please.
we need to keep a list of everyone we have put on the cast them in more things group.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she's more
It's
of
gonna be our "she was born to do drag" list kind of equivalent.
honestly.
Yes.
So I know her most prominently for Scott Pilgrim because she's in Scott Pilgrim. But yeah, but
I know her from Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen.
oh, I
mainly.
forgot about that movie.
Oh,
It's when I love that movie so much, and she's so good.
Yeah,
love it.
but she's done like a bunch of stuff. She's done theater. She has a Tony nomination. Like she's done a lot.
Really?
Yeah, she has a Tony nomination for the Lieutenant of Inishmore? Question mark. I've not seen it. Sorry, or heard of it to be honest. But she has a Tony nomination for that. She does a lot of TV, but she does a lot of work. Period. But I want her in more things. Yes. So cast Alison Pill in more movies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now,
also Lucas Gabriel was in this movie. I was like, what is she doing here? Loved it.
That was crazy. When he showed up, I was like, what is Ryan doing here? Hello?
Gay.
That's it. Just
even
gay.
though I'm pretty sure Lucas Grabeel himself is straight, which is whack. I think
crazy, actually.
I mean, I don't know, but I believe you. I mean, I don't,
I'm looking it up now.
It's like a Modern Family.
What's
that
his
one
name?
of the gay
I forgot
dudes
his name. The guy that plays Cam in Modern Family is also like straight.
That's literally what
I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord.
If you type Lucas Grabeel into Google, the first thing that pops up is sexuality.
Obviously.
And yes, he is straight, by the way. Fun fact.
But okay.
Yeah.
Love that for women.
Love that for y'all. But no, I wanna quickly touch on someone who I have historically, not on this podcast, but just in general, I have negative feelings toward because of a certain role that they did play that I fucking hate. So Emile Hirsch, I think it's time for us to have a conversation. So you acted in honestly one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen, a movie that I effing hate, Into the Wild, and I have hated.
He was not great in this. He was not good in this.
I liked him in this. Is the thing. I thought he did a really good job in this movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I thought it was fine, but I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, let me put it this way. So when I look at the movies that he has been in, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I like are like this. I like this movie quite a bit. I liked him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like I think he did a really good job there. But I personally find Into the Wild to be one of the most insipid pieces of garbage I have ever had to sit through in my entire life. Now, is that Emile Hirsch's fault? Partially, but not really. But I have been kind of toxic to this man for quite a while. So I think I'm going to just let him go and like let him be a normal actor in my head once again. So you have officially wormed your way out of my hatred, Emile Hirsch. Congratulations.
Nice.
Good job, Emile Hirsch.
Hey,
good job.
See, I thought he was fine in this. I thought he was believable, which to me I was like, okay, he really was believable as a gay man.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was except James Franco, to me. But
yeah, I thought he did a good job. He clearly, like, since he has such a big role, he needs to be in a lot. And I think he did a pretty good job for what he was given and for what he had to do. I mean, there was never a moment where I was just like, oh, that's a little awkward, or like, oh, that acting choice was a little strange. I thought he did overall pretty well. So yeah, I don't really had any issues with his acting. I thought he did pretty well.
And he didn't have a role that was supposed to stand out in any way.
Yeah, like I think it need to be Sean Penn as Harvey Milk, then James Franco as Scott Smith, where he obviously didn't really excel at that, and Victor Garber as the mayor. I think it was also pretty important as well, and obviously Josh Brolin as Dan White. Obviously, I think those were the ones that needed to really stand out. Everyone else was fine. Like,
and they were, but they were good.
Yeah,
the people that you mentioned, yeah.
So can we talk about Josh Brolin specifically? Because it is so wild to me how we do not recognize this man as one of the best actors of our generation. I just want that established. He has been great in so many movies, and I think part of it might just be because he has that MCU thing that kind of like pulls him down to people. But like, he was great in this. He got an Oscar nomination for this movie, by the way. So he's incredible in this. He's
is he the one
really
who plays
good.
Don?
What? Yes, he is.
Not Dan. Don. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He played Dan. Yeah. So he's great in this. He's really good in No Country for Old Men. He is really good in True Grit. He does a really good job in the MCU. We would not care about Thanos if he didn't do as good of a job as he does. Like he does such a good job in so many things. He also does a really good job in Deadpool, playing honestly the straight man in the Deadpool Chaos Universe as Cable. Like, we need to acknowledge Josh Brolin and his talents more, because this man deserves a lot more praise than he actually gets. Personal taste.
No, I absolutely agree with you.
You know who I also want to give praise to quickly, just a note, is the casting director. 8 at the end when they were showing like the little, because I love seeing at the end when it's a real story, like the footage or pictures or whatever of like the real people, to kind of see, you know. And I think they did such a fantastic job with like the casting and choosing people that didn't necessarily look like exactly like the person. Well, Sean Penn did, honestly. But like that didn't necessarily look exactly like the person, but they gave like the vibe. Like they fit. It fit perfectly, I think, except for what I already mentioned. But everyone else, like, so good.
Josh Brolin looks like he could be Dan White. Like in this movie, like mind blowing to me, because I looked up Dan White's Wikipedia page earlier today. And I looked at that and I compared it to Josh Brolin. I'm like, so special props also to the makeup hairstyling people and the costuming people for doing great at that too, because this movie would not come together in the way that it does without especially the hairstyling people doing their damnedest on this. They did a fantastic job here.
Yeah. Also, since we're talking,
of it, I know there was like some real footage, I think, but it kind of felt very like realistic and like almost documentary like.
Yeah, that is very true. I was going to say, since we're talking about actors and actresses that are in this movie, I want to give a small but loud shout out to my baby girl, Diego Luna. You can do no wrong. I love you. You are perfect. You are lovely. I love seeing you and everything that you do, and you did an amazing job here, sweetie. I love you so much.
Now the character that he played, I have something to say.
Say it.
But yes,
his character is so complicated, but yes.
Well, here's the thing. It's a real story, right? I'm not gonna like, we're talking about real people here, so it's not. I just want to talk about like I'm not really saying about the person necessarily, but this topic, I think is really important. Because I think the storyline with his character is very important, and it opens a good conversation about mental health and everything. But the one thing that really bothers me is the weaponization of mental health and like leaving the notes, like you leaving a note blaming someone else for you taking your own life is so fucking cruel. And it's so like, it is so fucked up. And like, I understand that a person that is about to take their own life is not in the correct mental state to be making the correct decision. So I understand, right? But I'm just saying, like, on from the point of view of the person that stays and that whose name is on the note. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why it happens and why that person would do that, but the impact, it can be so detrimental. And I think it was important that was shown and portrayed in the movie, because I think it's like I said, I think it's an important conversation to have, and because it obviously impacted Harvey profoundly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's
But I
very
also
clear.
feel for him because,
Yeah, it's complicated because clearly, like, the character that Diego Luna plays, Jack Lira, clearly was struggling with a lot and was going through a lot, right? He clearly had a lot of mental health issues and was going through something and was just struggling overall. And no matter what Harvey did, it was just going to, like, I don't think Harvey either had the time or the resources to really help Jack be in a healthy position at any point. I don't think Jack ever knew what he was getting himself into. It seemed like he didn't really know who Harvey was or how important Harvey was to his community and how busy he was going to be. And so just Harvey didn't have the resources to really help out Jack. And Jack just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it just is unfortunate that in his last moments of life, he decided to take it out on Harvey, which, as you said, River,
that was helping him.
it's very,
Actually,
yeah, it's very fucked. But at the same time, like, as you said, someone that's about to take their life obviously is struggling and going through a lot. And so clearly, like, they're not thinking straight about the possibilities and like how that could maybe damage or like hurt someone else that is in your life as well, right? So clearly he in his mind maybe thought that Harvey was either cheating on him or like had a vendetta against him or just didn't want to be around him. So
or
clearly
didn't care,
or
right?
just didn't care. So clearly there's something there that is very unfortunate that it ended up happening the way that it did. And it's very unfortunate that Harvey didn't have, as I said, the resources or the time to really give Jack the just the time, right? Or the like he didn't have the resources to help him like he needed to be helped, which is very unfortunate.
Jack needed more help than Harvey
Could give
possibly
alone.
could ever give him.
Yeah.
And like Harvey was still doing his absolute best with what he had, but
Yeah.
that was still not enough. It was not enough for Jack. Like, he needed more help and more like,
Yeah. Jack
intense help, I would say, or whatever.
yeah. Jack needed to go get psychological help somewhere else other than Harvey. Because Harvey, as I said, not only is incredibly busy and is, in public office, but also has a lot of friends and everything. So he's very busy. He cannot like help you 24/7, which is unfortunate. So
But like giving you a
clearly,
place to live, giving you like someone to count on when like the time, like when it's a moment that you need, not like all the time, but as a friend.
yeah.
There are
So
other ways that Harvey could still help, is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
and Harvey definitely helped a lot still, but no, like Jack definitely needed a lot of psychological help, a lot of therapy. He
Professional.
needed
Yeah.
to also have like friends because that's also unfortunate. Everyone that Harvey surrounded himself with didn't really like Jack, so that's also a tough one as well. So yeah, it sucks, but as I said, it's it's just like they just didn't have the
Mhm.
resources for Jack, unfortunately.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it happened, and there's not much you can do about that. But yeah, as I said, my baby girl Diego Luna, you can do no wrong, and I love you so much.
He did a great job acting wise here. Really, really
Yes,
good. Yeah.
my baby
Baby
girl,
girl.
my
And it's
baby
also
girl
like
Diego
a
Luna.
little cautionary tale of like, if you uh when you base your happiness or your whatever keeps you going around one thing or one person or one place or whatever,
Mhm.
that's really dangerous, because when that one thing or place or whatever is not there anymore in the way that you need, it's just like, what else do you have?
Yeah,
It's important to have uh more than one source, quote unquote, I would say, of whatever it is we need as humans,
yeah, of support and like love
yeah.
and help. Yeah,
Yeah. I wanna quickly just ask everyone, right? Because I know we have feelings about him as a person, but I do think it is relevant to discuss Sean Penn. So let's go ahead and get the easy stuff out of the way. Sean Penn did win the Academy Award for Best Actor for this movie. One of 2 Oscars this movie won. The other was for original screenplay, by the way, in case anyone's curious. Lost Best Picture to Slumdog Millionaire, by the way, which I think even back then was controversial. And I don't think it was that necessarily that this didn't win Best Picture. It was The Dark Knight didn't win. And I think a lot of people were pretty heated about that. Also, I should note this is the year Heath Ledger won the Oscar for The Joker. Which is why no one really talks about the other nominees for supporting actor that year. Sorry to Josh Brolin. I'm sorry to this man. But Sean Penn, we are now coming off of his 3rd Oscar win this past year. I can note the fury behind River's eyes, no matter how much they try to hide it.
I love Pink. Love it. Love it.
I don't think you understand. You've started something that we cannot stop anymore.
I'm not gonna get into it. I'm just kidding.
Now
I was just looking at because here's the thing. I can't be a hater too much. I won't be a hater too much. Go ahead.
I can and I will.
A little bit I will. But go ahead.
So let's get this out of the way. Okay? Sean Penn. You have made that, say it again. Say it again for the people in the back.
Tomato.
Thank you, boo, tomato. You're kind of an asshole. And that's just the first place I want to start. Based on, the multiple assault charges, the domestic violence allegations, all of that. So beyond that, I don't like seeing you as a person in presence in movies still, and it kind of irritates me that no one really seems to care about the stuff that you've done. But I also, even if none of that had happened, right, which that's enough to make anybody hate you, I would still not like you, Sean Penn, because you, Sean Penn, committed a scourge upon humanity. You did one of the single worst things I have ever seen to Hollywood. You directed and wrote the screenplay for Into the Wild.
I wish so much that I had grabbed my DVD copy before we started recording.
I know. You directed and wrote Into the Wild, which, God, I fucking hate Into the Wild.
This has turned more into an Into the Wild conversation than a milk conversation.
We should do it at one point. You know what? Maybe we should think about it.
No, this is the last time I think I'll bring up Into the Wild in this video, but I had to bring it up here because it is the reason I started to hate Sean Penn. So
that's your root. Got it.
It's my root. But now
as a Sean Penn hater, that's your root.
Sean Penn hater root. Exactly.
My mom got married in pants. Sean Penn directed Into the Wild. That's your root. There you go.
But importantly, he does a really fucking great job in this movie, and no one can He won the Oscar for a reason. It's very clear why he did. Mm-hmm. He's outstanding in this movie. He is single-handedly the best performance in this film. If we're acting like he's not, we're just deluding ourselves. To once again quote Abora, isn't it awful how the worst people are the most talented?
Yeah, truly. I was going to say that.
It is very unfortunate.
The worst people always are the most successful, and it sucks. It really sucks when someone that's just an evil person, just a bad person, has this amount of talent. It really sucks.
Wouldn't it be great if your talent was slowly taken away from you when you did bad things?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Or when you
wish
did bad
so.
things on purpose. When you did bad things on purpose.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase it. Yeah, because humans. But yes. What I wanted to say about Sean Penn, because we do disagree with Into the Wild, because I think we were introduced to the movie in different ways, and we've talked about it, and we can talk about it if we ever do it a podcast about that movie.
Okay,
But
look,
Into the Wild
let's be
aside,
blunt.
right?
It's gonna happen at some point, and I think we should
Into
save the
the-
discourse for later. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the Wild aside, the thing for me, and this is just my personal opinion, right? When someone that we know is a bad person in real life plays a villain in a movie, I'm not that impressed. Like, if they do a good job, they did a good job, great, good for you, whatever, right? Fine.
Yeah.
But for example, right, his latest Oscar for One Battle After Another, besides me not liking the movie, I think his acting specifically, since we're talking about it, was actually probably the best thing about the movie for me. Like, he did a very good job acting wise in that movie. But he was playing someone that is very close to the version that I believe is his real self. So to me, it's not impressive enough. Like, it's still good, right?
Mhm.
But it's not impressive enough to be the winner of the biggest acting award, to me personally. So for me, his Oscar for Milk, I actually agree on, and I think is more impressive because he was very believable as someone that was a good person. So, which we know he's not. So that to me is impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I should also go ahead and clarify very quickly. Politically, no real issues with this dude. But when it comes to the legal things that he has done to a
There's the
variety
problem.
of people,
But
and
the
partners
amount
over
of leftist men that hit women, girl.
yeah, you're
No,
just another
that's-
one of those
that's-
men.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
It is what
I
it
should
is.
also note this is his he has 3 Oscars. This is his second Oscar. His first was for a movie in 2003 called Mystic River, which I have not seen, but it's a mystery crime drama that has a lot of people we really like in it. Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, Kevin Bacon, Lawrence Fishburne, Marcia Gay Harden, Laura
Wow.
Linney, Emmy Rossum, who I like as an actress but hate as a person. There's a lot of good names in that movie, which means I should probably watch it at some point.
Yeah.
it is on one of my watch lists. I know for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean Penn was really like, I hate when someone that I don't like is talented and does something that I enjoy, but that's just
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean? I've accepted it at this point, and he was good here. He really was.
Yeah. I fully agree with you. It sucks that. I say, yeah, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. Yeah.
But
It sucks that he did such a good job.
yeah, it's like ugh,
It
you
annoys
feel
me.
conflicted. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what? It's a good exercise for us to understand that two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
And this is the case, right?
Yeah. That is true.
But one thing that I noted that I took on my notes, because I took a little bit less notes here than I usually do, because I don't know, maybe I was really trying to pay attention to this story because I knew it was a real story and like I wanted to like learn and anyway. But one of the things that I noted was that I think it was like in the beginning of his political career when he was doing a debate with, I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was like a public debate. And he was critiquing the Democratic Party, and the critiques that he had in the 70s remains true to this day about the Democratic Party. And I just think that is very sad and unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
in my opinion, it's still the same. I'm just,
So it's really interesting to talk about the Democratic Party in the 70s because this is right after the party switch. So we're like still, and I don't want to get into the whole, did the party switch actually happen? Yes, the party switch happened. I'm not like, if somebody in our comments comes down there is like, oh, the party switch isn't real. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It happened. We all know it happened. F off, essentially. So basically, there was this big switch where the Republicans used to be the more left-leaning party in the U.S. and the Democrats were the conservative party. Like, if you ever hear someone say, "Oh, Democrats were the party of slavery," that's true. That is a factual statement. But then, flip, it just happened, and a lot of that had to do with, certain things that occurred in the 1960s, most prominently in the 70s. The Civil Rights Act was passed by a Democrat, and the South got really pissed. So they started voting Republicans, but then the North was like, no, that's really cool. So we're going to start voting Democrat. And then they just kind of switched where the Democrats became the more left-leaning party and the conservatives became the Republicans. And it's been that way ever since, thank God. But it's really interesting to hear critique about.
That's why someone says that to him, like, "Oh, I thought you were a Republican or something." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When
so that's probably why. Okay,
Scott
that makes
meets
sense.
him, he asked him, "I thought you were a Republican." Yeah.
Yeah. So when we get that conversation, I like that debate still a lot. I think it actually adds a lot to both of to Harvey as a person, because there are times early on in the movie where it seems like he just wants to be involved and he doesn't really know what he's doing. And you know what? We've all been there, right? Yeah. But as the movie goes on, you can see him build that confidence up and build up his skills at what he's trying to do. Because the one thing he was good at the beginning was finding people to listen to him. But as he's gotten more people to listen to him, he's refined what he's saying. So when he's having that debate, he's kicking this man's ass up and down that high school gym floor. Like, he's eating him up.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think is really good story-wise in this movie is for the character of Harvey Milk is how we kind of see him learning to play the game in his way, right? In his own way. But yeah.
Yeah. I also thought it was interesting how at some point someone tells Harvey, we know what you're against, but we don't know what you're for. And I immediately thought of Hamilton. If you stand for nothing but what will you fall for? So it was very interesting for Harvey to actually take that advice and finally start advocating for things that he actually believes in, instead of just being like, oh, I'm against this, this is not right. He actually starts saying, I want this to happen in our community. I want this change to happen. I want this to move forward. And I want to change the views of common America on LGBTQ people and their issues and how they're treated. And yeah, it was just so interesting, as you said, to see his evolution from someone that just has the ability to have people to listen to him to actually refine what he's saying and how he says it and evolve into what he becomes ultimately at the end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So should we talk about the ending of the film here? I feel like we kind of have... Okay. Maybe not the ending right away. I feel like maybe we need to get the lead up in. So
okay. Before we get to that, because I do have one thing that is not, if we go to that, I don't want to go back.
Yeah, you're good.
The one thing that I wanted to note that I thought was very interesting, maybe I don't know if y'all noticed, but to me I thought was so cool that he was always like he was losing, right? Losing, whatever. The one moment he brought not only a woman, but a lesbian to be the manager of the campaign, he won. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I'm so sorry. I don't think that's a coincidence. I thought that was so awesome that was shown and she was highlighted.
Lesbians, they get the job done.
As part of the brains of the operation, really. And she really did a great job. And I think this was before, right, the AIDS epidemic and before the lesbians were taking care of the gay men and what all of that, the story of why L is the first letter, whatever. But I think it's cool because it shows that it didn't start there. Like that was just because it was so big, right? It was so impactful and for everyone's lives that it, that's kind of where it started. But really what the solidarity in between our communities has always been there is my point. And it shows that we are stronger if and when we work together, actually.
That's true. Yeah, that's.
And then we all win at the end. How nice.
Yeah, it's just like the joke says, we spread the gay agenda and it's made by lesbians, so it works.
Girl.
When lesbians are in your side, it's gonna work.
She got them together like that.
That's why I say lesbians are the pillar of our community. Without them, we wouldn't be to where we are now.
Exactly. Love that.
Okay, now we can get into
that. Yeah.
The unfortunate scenario.
Yeah. So Harvey gets elected to the board of supervisors, and they're doing work, and everybody's championing their agendas. And we meet Dan, who's like, he's a conservative Democrat, which is a term that I hate, but that's the truth. And he's like,
what are even words? What do words even mean anymore?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Who cares?
So you have this thing where Harvey is trying to support this bill for gay rights in San Francisco. And Dan wants to prevent this mental health hospital from opening in his district. And they, it's kind of that bargaining thing, the political bargaining of, oh, well, you do this thing for me, I do this thing for you. Everybody wins, we all get what we want. But Harvey doesn't want to help Dan on this because he thinks this hospital will be helpful and beneficial. So he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. So Dan becomes...
How dare he put the people first?
How dare he put the people first, yes. So Dan then votes against the gay rights ordinance. It passes anyway, but Dan votes against it. He's the only person to vote against it. And Dan feels betrayed, like hard betrayed by the situation, because before this, they were rather close and friendly with each other. Like he had invited Harvey to his kid's christening. Like they were close. But then, you get that defeat of Prop 6 and looks like things are going in the right direction. But Dan is trying to get a pay raise because he says he can't afford to take care of his family with salary, and it gets defeated. So he resigns, right? Here's where everything fucking goes wrong. So at this point, Dan and Harvey, that relationship is dissolved pretty much. They're not working together in any way. Dan tries to get his job back and he tries to get reinstated. Now, he gets denied by the mayor after Harvey did a little bit of, posturing, lobbying, etc. I should note that
also because if you resign from public office and then you regret resigning and you want to come back and you get upset when you can't get your job back when you resigned, that's crazy. Like, I think it's reasonable to be like, I regret it, I actually want my job back, whatever. Like, I think it's reasonable to ask if that happens. That's reasonable. What is not reasonable is to freak out in any kind of way. This was the most extreme possible, I think. But any other level of reaction, negative reaction, would be like unreasonable because you decided you were not fired for a wrong reason. Like nothing. It was your choice, and now you're mad that you can't go back. Cry me a river. I don't fucking care. Like
so. Importantly, in real life, he was originally reinstated by the mayor, and then he got lobbied out of it and lobbied into changing his mind.
Well,
yeah. So I will say that was something I feel like they could have probably.
I would be a little bit more pissed, but it doesn't. Yeah. It would justify being pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So sure. Dan enters the
What?
building and he shoots the mayor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Privately in his office. And I would like to add, lady, did you not? You heard 3 gunshots and you didn't even go look?
Like, hello?
Hello? And you know who just went in
Uh,
there? You told him, you called the mayor and you were like, Dan White is here to see you. You know who shot the guy.
yeah.
But
Crazy.
instead, Dan's allowed to just walk out of the room and he goes to Harvey, pulls him into his office. No. Pop, pop, pop. And then Harvey turns around and is like kneeling and looking out over San Francisco, and then he gets shot in the back of the head.
It's crazy. Like, to me, it's crazy that kind of crime, because I am a person that I think smaller, quote unquote, crimes should have should not have that long sentences like they have today. Like robbing food from a store, like who fucking cares? Like, no. But when it's like crimes that affect someone else's life or whatever, like someone else in a very negative way, or an attempt at someone's life, like there's no world to me where it's normal for there to be a like the minimum sentence, I think, should be like half of the person's life. Like if it was a 22-year-old, at least 11 years, like minimum, or something like that. I don't know, or maybe more, because then if you kill a child, it's less than, I don't know. Like, but it can't. It's not enough. For murder is not enough. It's just not.
Yeah.
Like when
Also,
it's an accident or whatever. Like, but when it's like intentional murder, it doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, like specifically, at the end they talk about the Twinkie defense, which is
Crazy, by the way.
baffling to me. Like
His
incredibly stupid.
diet of junk food created a chemical imbalance.
Like we're not even
For
using
real.
the gay panic, defense that has been used before. No, we're using the Twinkie defense. And the fact that it worked is fucking insane. Like
Crazy.
this man killed the mayor. He killed the mayor and a public office holder, and he got 5 years. The disrespect to those 2 people is absolutely insane, and
Ridiculous.
it pissed me off so hard.
And the disrespect to the people that got those 2 people that were killed elected as well.
Yeah, as well.
Because that, not to say that their life has any more or less value, but what I mean is, like, you're also disrespecting everyone that put those people, because here's the thing. It wasn't like they were murdered because they were being robbed by a stranger in the street.
Mm-hmm.
If this was political violence, it's different, right? It's a more specific, like here, I don't know if you have that in the US, but like in Brazil, we have feminicide, which is like it's a specific crime that, like, you killed that person because she was a woman, like specific. And so kind of like that, like it's political violence. So it's the motivation of a crime is so important when it comes to a sentence or whatever. Yeah.
I think it's important to acknowledge a lot of the circumstances that were going around of this case, as to why
in the time
he didn't
as
get
well,
sentenced as harshly as he probably should have been. First off, he's a former cop, and if you know anything about that in the justice system, it's gonna naturally make his life easier. Second, just because Harvey Milk was elected to office in San Francisco does not mean that the entirety of San Francisco liked Harvey Milk. A lot of them didn't like him. And by association, they weren't huge fans of the mayor either. Like, again, we talk about San Francisco now, and it's a very, very, very liberal town, but it's a hugely populated town. That means there are going to be people who aren't supportive of anything. And to be quite honest with you, had he not literally admitted to doing it, I think there is a very real possibility he gets off. Really, I think it is entirely possible that he would have gotten away with murder here.
I mean, if it's
Uh,
possible today, imagine in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
the fact that he
yeah.
got manslaughter for this, by the way, can I just say, is laughable. Like manslaughter charges are completely different.
Disrespectful.
It's
Yeah.
completely different.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Like, not even second-degree murder. Like, hello.
Unacceptable.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, I'll say quickly. It reminds me of, as I said, here in Mexico, whenever there is a murder, when it comes to like homophobia or something, a lot of the police force just writes it off as a crime of passion. They don't really give it the time of day of, oh, this is a hate crime, an attack, a political murder, like something happening because of political means or because like disagreement on political like beliefs and homophobia, racism, and stuff like that. It's always just, oh, it was a crime of passion, and that's it, and the person gets off, and they like never see jail. So it's tough to hear that like in the 70s to now, not much has changed when it comes to that, unfortunately. Um, so we need to do something about that at some point. But yeah, it's fucking it makes me so sad to believe that we live in a world in which that has not changed.
Yeah, whenever we had like the debates or like when we heard like the people that opposed him like talking why whatever, like it's the same stupid fucking arguments and reasons, and it's just like it's the same reheated nachos that it's been forever, and it's just like so frustrating and sad to see that it's kind of like the pendulum, right? Like that it goes back and forth and like whatever. And we did have it was never perfect, right? But we did have a period of time that felt very hopeful and was very joyful actually. And it kind of is to see that like the regression of everything is just like so sad and frustrating, and it's just
sad and frustrating.
Yeah.
quite frankly, just bleak.
Bleak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I also want to touch on the candlelight vigil imagery, which I thought was very sweet and very beautiful.
Yes.
I don't. Okay, I think we are now at the point in time where I feel like we can stop talking about this as a movie and start talking about the impact of the person here. Because I think it's very important to recognize the fact that this is a biopic. It's a very good biopic. It tells the story very well. But the impact of this, for the queer community, I feel like we still feel it all these years later. It's been almost 50 years since this happened. And, now we're in a place where this is the kind of thing that, because it happened, it's tragic and awful, but it did galvanize the shit out of a group of people. Obviously, I wish it never had happened, because anybody getting murdered under any context is not ideal. But if you look at a silver lining, Harvey Milk inspired millions of people.
Because many of us were killed and are killed constantly every day, and not every one of our deaths generates the same movement as his and other people's, right? It's not to say that it's more or less valuable. It's just some people make a bigger splash or whatever, and then we should be grateful for like, would it be great if more of it happened to more people, in the sense of like the importance of the deaths were kind of the same and whatever? I wish less people died, of course. But I wish kind of every story was as important as the other. I wish we didn't have that disparity. But we need to see, like you said, the silver lining, and is not every murder ends up with something good coming out of it, and this one did. Not saying that it's good, but nothing could have happened as well, or something negative could have happened as a response as well. Like, things could have gotten even worse. Like, so yeah.
Yeah. Harvey Milk just, as you said, but kind of galvanized us together. Just be like the death of Harvey Milk really brought the whole community together, it seems like, and it really made people realize that there needs to be community there, that we need to be there to support each other. Without each other, we are nothing. We cannot fight this beast alone. We need each other to fight it together. Um, it is unfortunate that we needed to lose someone as important as Harvey Milk to make that happen. But thankfully, like at least we were able to come together and like do something about it, right? And without Harvey Milk, not only the U.S. but I think the world wouldn't be the way that it is now. And as it stated before, not only here but like in history, American politics not only affect America, affect the entire world. And so I do not think the world would be as accepting as it is of LGBTQ people without people like Harvey Milk. So, as I said, it is unfortunate that his death happened so that we could get to where we are now, but without him, we wouldn't be here. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I will forever be grateful for what Harvey Milk did for the community in the USA and for probably like creating a domino effect that really helped out not only, as I said, the people in the US, but people in Mexico, probably people in Brazil, people in Europe, people around the world will probably like helped because of Harvey Milk's existence, and I cannot thank him enough for that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I second that.
Well, on that note, everybody, do we have anything else we'd like to add before we get to scores?
Yeah, one very quick thing. I wish we could have seen the Anita pie in the face moment in this movie, but other than that, yeah, that's the only thing I was hoping for. I was waiting for the pie in the face for Anita, and it never happened, unfortunately. But yeah, I still like the
We'll
movie.
watch it together after the video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that moment is iconic, and I wish we could have seen it in this movie. But fine, it's fine.
All right. So, friendly reminder: we are scoring a movie. Okay, this is not scoring Harvey Milk as a person. This is just us talking about how we feel about
or his impact, or
Harvey Milk would be a fine person.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, if we were rating Harvey Milk, he would get a perfect score. But unfortunately, we're not rating Harvey Milk. We're rating the movie.
Yes. So, as it was my choice, I will go first. I've been kind of waffling back and forth about it. I think for me, the biggest thing I can say is that it's a really well done movie, and I really do appreciate Harvey Milk, and I do appreciate the acting specifically of Sean Penn. But there were parts of it that just didn't grab me, and I think there were times where it did lose me a little bit. And because of that, I gave it a 4, which I think is pretty accurate to how I feel. 4.25 is probably more accurate, but honestly, a 4 feels about right. So I'll give it a 4. River.
Well, so I kind of feel the same way. Like I enjoyed learning about the story of Harvey Milk more than I enjoyed the actual film. You know what I mean? Like the medium of film was kind of indifferent to me. Like I would have enjoyed the same if someone was telling me his story, like just telling me, or if I was reading about it, or if I was learning about his story through other types of media, I would have enjoyed it, I think, the same amount. And so in the film, I respect more the filmmaking and, like you said, the acting. I respect the movie more than I personally enjoy it as a film. But much more, I like the story itself, I think is important to be told and all of that. And I think they did the story justice and they did it in a respectful way. Like, I think it was well made. I scored out of 10, so I gave it a 7.5, and I had to debate if I was going to round it up or down, right, when divided by 2. But I ended up giving it a 3.5.
I think that was very fair.
There we go.
Okay. For me, I won't be a dead horse. We already said it. I respect this movie more than I actually like it. It's one of those movies that like I sat down, I watched it, I appreciated it, and I will probably never watch again. Uh, but it's
Yeah.
fine. I can still appreciate a lot of movies like that. I love a lot of movies like that. Um, but yeah, as you've stated before, there were just some moments throughout the movie that just didn't fully grab my attention, and like where I felt like it dragged a little bit, or like I wasn't paying my full attention to the movie
Mhm.
there. Like I just didn't feel connected to the movie more like. So yeah, but this movie's great. It has a bunch of incredible performances, and my baby girl Diego Luna is in this movie, so I have to respect it even a little bit because he was in it. So for that reason alone, I have to give it a 4 and 5.
There we go.
Very nice.
So, with that, we have officially wrapped up our Pride Month coverage. It's okay, everybody. We're going to pack the Rambos up for the next 11 months. We can bring them back
Yeah,
out in June 1st,
we are
2027.
gay no
Just like
more.
every other major corporation in the world. Trust me,
Uh,
I'm not going to not call out the pink washing when I see it.
yeah, as you should.
Well,
As you should.
So, be an ally 365 days a year and 366 if it's a leap year, baby. Thank you very much. But now that we have finished June, it is now time to talk about what we are doing in July. And well, I told you all at the very beginning of April that I was first and then others would come later. It is now time for someone to come next. So, with that being said, I'll let you do it, River. Go ahead.
well, we're still gonna continue to be, kind of gay because it is my month. So, you know, it's still going to be very that. And I was like debating of how I wanted to do my choices for my month. And since it's the first time we're doing it, spoiler, it might be a reoccurring event.
This is
Um,
a regular event. Do not get it twisted. Okay, look,
yeah.
let's just tell the people. Let's just be honest with the people. Okay, we liked
Yeah.
it when I did it for my month. It's gonna be fun when River does it, and later this year when Eduardo does it, they're gonna have fun too. And we already have it planned to do it next year too. So just have fun with that, people. This is now a
Yeah.
regular recurring trope. There you go.
Yes. So, thinking of like the other things that we were doing throughout the year and everything, I kind of wanted for this year to do um very like core memories or core films, like things that really do, like you said last week, when you look at the list, you're like, yeah, that's River. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to give that.
Mhm.
And surprisingly, there's no animated films. Gag, shock,
Shocking.
shocking for everyone.
Got me a bit for
But
sure.
I also think of the quality of the discussion, and like most of the films, animated films that I would choose, I know that y'all love, and there's like, what would we really talk about?
Yep.
Like what else can be said about Shrek 2? You know what I mean? Like what else can be said? So for the first week, I decided to go with I kind of went chronological a little bit. I decided to go with something from my childhood that I've related to and loved my whole life. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time. We're going to start my month with Matilda, baby. Period.
Yay!
Matilda from 1996. I have a very strange feeling that next week I'm going to be outnumbered. But
Okay.
I like the
I don't,
movie. Let me get
okay.
established. I like the movie.
Okay.
Oh, I think I know exactly the one exact point that you are talking about, I think.
We'll discuss next week.
Okay.
Yes.
And I should say, the week after that is going to be another. I mean, obviously, it's another River selection. River, do you have a hint for that movie that you would like to give the people?
I'm going to give a hint that if you know, you know. If you've seen the movie, if you know the scene, you know. Teacup. That's all I'm going to say.
Teacup.
Teacup.
haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. But until then,
well,
until next time, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for joining us throughout Pride Month. It was really special for us, and we're excited to obviously be doing it again next year because Pride doesn't take a break, baby. So.
Oh, we're still going to be covering gay movies throughout the year. Don't you worry.
You get the fans ready, baby. It's gay time, just for another week. Time of filming. Gay. But unfortunately, we have ran out of popcorn, drank our entire soft drink, and no one ever eats more than one soft pretzel. No. So we will see you next time, everybody, to talk about Matilda. But until then, we're going to get out of here, everybody. Bye.
Bye.